Welcome back here to Austin's Hot Rod Garage. Today in the garage is the 1969 Ford Bronco that we were doing a ton of body work on. The part that I'm on today is the outer and inner rocker panels. So basically, I already laid this out, sort of ish, somewhat of a plan, not too much of a plan. Okay, it's like a half step of a 100-step plan probably. Plane, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but there's a plane flying over. So basically, this is the rocker panel. As you can see here, ton of Bondo. Thing is just completely shot. And it's all no metal there whatsoever. The inner rocker is also shot on the backside. So I ordered a new rocker panel, outer and inner, from LMC Truck. I did a slip-on style, so they make one that will come all the way up here and weld in there. You know the drill, I've talked about it before. I don't want to deal with finding all the spot welds and drilling them out or grinding them flush or doing any of that, because there's a ton. I can see most of them on this one. I just don't want to do it. It's going to lose a ton of rigidity out of the car if I go cut this entire thing off. By all means, that's the right way to do it, so I'm not going to do it. So basically what I did here is I want to save and reuse as much of this metal as I can. Put as little bit of welding into it, cut as little bit out as I can, which this thing is pretty rotten. So basically what I did is I took a square, and I don't know how well you can see it, but I scribed a line on the top there. I can't remember what I set it to. It was probably like 1/2 inch or something. And basically just scribed, ran my square all the way down here with a fine tip Sharpie down the end of it, scribed my line right there. And then I did the same. This is my outer rocker, so I drew the same line on here. Sanded off the weldable primer just that way I could use the same Sharpie instead of doing it different. Nails on a chalkboard. So basically, nails on a rocker. Anyways, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and cut this line on the body. I know because of how I transferred those lines, I should be able to pretty much cut and leave the line on both pieces. It's a pretty faint line, about a 32nd or so, maybe a 16th where it's thick, where I doubled up, went down and then back. So I'm gonna cut that top, and then I think I do want to potentially use these sides, just because there is, you can see it there, there's just no material left here to leave a piece there to do a weld. So basically I'm just going to start cutting this thing out and going piece by piece as I go. So I'm going to plunge cut this top, cut the top off, and then just start taking it out in chunks and getting it out of my way. And then from there, then I can get to the inner rocker panel easier, and I'll see how much I've got to cut it out of it there, which is probably going to be pretty much all of it. And then I'll get the new inner rocker panel welded on. Kind of an important step that I'm going to try to do is I want to hang this door back on before I weld the outer rocker panel on, not the outer rocker panel. Just so that way I have all my gaps and I can see everything really well. I would say it's probably a decent idea. Weather is beautiful out today. Having the garage door open is nice. I haven't been able to do that in a while. But I've got a ton of broken off screws. I don't know if you can see them, but there's a ton of broken off bolts in here from when the guy removed the hinges off. So I got to drill those out and tap or fix that. And then I got new hinges coming, so I can get the doors mounted on when I at least get the rocker panel, so I can set all my gaps. But I can get this old cutout done, get the inner rocker cut out and inner rocker welded in before any of that really needs to happen. So I'm going to jump right into this and start cutting. All right, so we are all set up. Time to make some sparks fly. What are you guys working on? I would love to hear. Comment down below and let me know. sink in and really see what I got going on back behind here. Oh, I cut my concrete a little bit. Yeah. You know, that's fine. It's just a little birdie. Fly, little birdie. Little wing flappage going on there. Yeah, inner rocker is shot. That's what I expected. Okay. Throw some plunge cuts over here. My goodness, there's so much just goodness in here. Oh yeah, that's real healthy. Just dirt clumps galore in here caked up. That is so much. My goodness. Oh yeah. Let me bring you in. Well, so here is where I'm at. As you can see, this is all that loveliness I was saying that fell out of there. It is pretty bad, As you can see, it all just fell out here. This is where it was all not even attached before. This is where the inner rocker was horrible, and it's about paper thick, and they're super soft there. Barely hanging on over here. So basically I just got to keep getting this cut out. So this is still a rocker, and it attaches on. You can kind of see the old spot where it broke off there. So basically I just got to decide now, do I want to keep messing around with cutting out this, or do I want to just go hack this whole inner rocker out? So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to keep slicing and dicing this thing out of there. And yeah, we'll stay right along the way. You guys will, you'll see what happens. It'll get cut out and turned into something. It's gonna be a mess, that's for sure. But hey, just get after it. It's all you can do in a situation like this. Well, real quick here, I just wanted to show you, I just cut out the majority of the rocker panel, and look at how much stuff was hidden up in that door pillar that came out at me. I mean, that's a hefty pile of debris, I would say. Yeah, a lot more to go, that's for sure. Stay tuned. Well, hi there. I'm just lounging on the job here, but I figured I would show you. I got the inner rocker panels tacked into place. I did a test fit on the outer rocker panels and clamped them up, and they looked good. Still don't have the door hinges. I still got to drill out a bunch of broken bolts to be able to mount the door hinges, to be able to set the door to make sure they line up with the outer rocker panel. But I've got to get this inner rocker panel welded up before I can even do that. So rocker panel, say that 10 times fast. Show you what I'm working with here. Woo! That is a brand new rocker panel put in. So it is tack welded down there on the end. It is tack welded up there on the top. We got a new plate here. This is all rotten and ruined. So I had to fab a little piece for that, cut it out, weld it in, and it looks pretty good. I left my spot here on the old existing inner rocker panel, so I had something to line up there. So I know I'm pretty good on my height as well as my in to out. On the back, I did the same thing, left a little tab to kind of line up to know I'm in the right angle of the dangle. So I'm going to go ahead and just blast this with a bunch of heat wire and make some sparkles fly. and we'll get this sucker welded up, and then next time you see it, it'll have a nice smooth outer rocker panel getting put on right here. Well, we're cruising right along here trying to get these rocker panels welded on. A little movie magic happened. Basically what I did here is I painted the inner rocker panel. After that got all welded up, I put some seam filler around everything and got it all nice. I've got the outer rocker panel, which is right here, all groomed and fits in there very smooth and nice. So my next step here was to be able to go mount the door on, and I want to check the reveal of the door to the rocker panel and all the body lines and make sure it's good. So I've got the front fender on here. Obviously the back quarter panel is on. I did a little bit of hammer and dolly work on that as well. And then I've got these new hinges. This is actually an LMC truck polished hinge that looks super sharp, but I've covered it in masking tape to be able to protect it and not give it any scratches, since this thing's just in bare steel. Keep it protected, and then it'll get, tape taken off when this thing's painted and ready to actually be installed. The other thing that happened was all these door hinge bolts were pretty much broken off. So I've drilled holes, I've welded nuts on to get broken bolts out. I ended up actually cutting an access panel back here to get some out because it was just taking too long to drill them. And there was a little bit of corrosion on the backside here to where it was probably not the worst idea in the world to go ahead and cut it out and just make a little patch panel there. And you know the deal, it's just metal. And it came to the point where it was, you know what, time is of the essence, and I can make and weld a patch panel back on this deal a whole heck of a lot faster than I could keep drilling these broken bolts out for, because it was just a tedious pain in the butt, I tell you what. Ran a tap through all of these holes, so everything should be nice and cleaned up and threaded in easily. Basically, I'm just going to thread these hinges on. I'll probably leave them a tickle loose, so that way I can set the door on and then kind of align it a little bit, because these are it's a backing plate that can move around in there. So that way you can change the door a little bit, but I want to make the door line up to everything else. While I'm doing the rocker panel, I don't want to rely on these hinges solely to be able to fix any misalignment that I have. Snug these down just a little bit, enough that I don't feel like the door is just going to fall off, or all of it. Now let's bolt this other one on, then we'll slap a door on and we'll be good. Well, would you look at that? We got a door mounted, hinges on, taped up and protected, temp bolts to save on the real polished ones. And down here, we got a rocker panel clamped up, ready to be welded in. It took a little bit to get the door hung and play with the gaps and get them all dialed in just right, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Could still play with it a little bit. This body line's a little off, so it could come up on this side a hair. But for the most part, it is not too bad. So now basically I have got, I don't know how well you can see, it's kind of dark down here, but I've got a bunch of spot welds I drilled in this to the inner rocker panel that I'll weld up, and then I gotta weld my seam up here down this thing, which I'm gonna have to take my time and weld it really slow to prevent the warpage. So that's gonna do it for this episode. There's plenty of videos of me welding patch panels and stuff in. This one's gonna take some serious time. Ideally, you wanna weld this way because that's a lot less weld than running down this whole seam, but I wanted to try to save as much of this as I could, which is why I didn't cut this whole rocker panel out this way. It's just the way I did it. You can do it however you want to do it. And it was partly because that's the style of rocker panel I bought. I didn't buy the one that comes all the way up and does the door sills. Saved a little bit of dollars on it. Can you blame me? Things are expensive nowadays, but shout out to LMC Truck for just making incredible patch panels that just fit right. I left some, existing tabs on this to line up to. Everything is real nice. Clark, it's a beauty. So basically, that's going to do it. I'm just going to weld this thing up probably tomorrow or something like that. Pretty happy with how it came out. The biggest thing here is take your time lining your door up, your fender up, quarter panels, all that to get your gaps just right before you go locking anything down. You can tack weld stuff, leave yourself a chance to go move it around, but that's going to do it. This is not a full-time gig for me. This is done at night after work every day pretty much. And I got a wife and a young daughter that I try to spend as much time with as I can, and 2 dogs that need to be worn out. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I get to go be a husband, be a father, do that stuff. But all this is meant to do is to motivate you guys to get up, get out in your garage. It don't take much, right? We are in a little 2-car garage that I built myself off the back of my house. And I'm in here every single day making this happen, right? Some days it's only an hour, some days it's 2 hours, some days it's a half hour. On Saturdays, I generally wake up at like 4 in the morning and come out here and get a couple hours before anybody else in the family is awake. But that should be motivating you guys. Get up, use that little bit of time. An hour a day will make a lot of progress on a car. It'll add up. You will start just chipping stuff away and just slowly watching your dream come to life. So instead of sitting on the couch watching TV, get out and go get to work. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little less detail on how to do everything, but kind of showed everything along the way. If you want to see things differently, comment down below. I will read them all, and I can adjust accordingly. I am willing to change. Give it the old thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, and get out there and work on your stuff. Thanks for your support.